The fighter looks in such good shape, not because he was fighting earlier in the day, but what he's done for the past 3 years. So he's already in that physical condition because of the momentum he's built up. He didn't have to do it specifically on this day, but you put in all those other days, all those other deposits. Everything you do is a deposit. So you're either depositing in your health bank account, in your muscle bank account, in your self-defense bank account, in your passion bank account, in your relationship bank account, in your work-life balance bank account, in where you want to go in the future bank account, and maybe in your business bank account. Because all the things you do will build to that. So if you're going out there and you're selling your product every day, those are massive deposits in the business bank account. But I know most people aren't doing that. Most people have no passion for that. Most people think that's just some fairy dust. But little do you realize the amount that helps with everything else that you're doing. But I want to open up every opportunity for you, because I don't care what you do. But I do care the fact that some people will rather be watching stupid movies, stupid stuff on the internet, making no use of their time, lacking life experience. Maybe 1 year ago, 5 years ago, a decade ago, 2 decades will go, and these people will have zero life experience. And then something like a kid pops up. You know how bad that's going to be for that kid. You might have the best intentions. Let me tell you something. There has been a large percentage of deaths on this planet from people's good intentions, because good intentions are not enough in this world. Love is not enough in this world, because those two things have not created a great world. The things that create a great world is finding out what works, finding how it's applicable in your own life, and then applying it. It's not enough to know what you should be doing and you don't do it, or you think you might be doing it. You need to test this stuff. You need to test yourself as an individual. I have to test myself, and I have had to repeatedly. Whenever I share about mistakes, the reason that I can say I've had so many mistakes is because I've done so many different things, and then I realized that was wrong and that was wrong. And I know I'll look back on life and say, should have did that better, or I should never have done that. But you don't even have that. So at least whenever I look back on life, I will have had all these experiences that I can look back and reflect on, and I can really embody. Even my life experience as a 10-year-old, I can still remember. But some people, that's the only life experience they've really had, because then the internet started to come in, and then they got distracted by video games. And those video games were not the exciting times. Those video games were a distraction. You got more passion out of pretending that you were a computerized soldier than you got being a real person in this world, because you can be a soldier in this world, and better yet, you can be an individual who makes a difference in this world. Doesn't matter what way you go, what avenue you go. I share an occasional video here, and I hope to boost someone to have the passion to go for it. But let's remember, there's so many other people who are outworking me, outthinking me, producing more, doing more. And that person might not even be operating in this field. That person might be a car mechanic. But if that individual makes every car that person works on operate at peak efficiency, then they've set up that car to be safer for the person that drives it. But if you're the person that looks up all about cars, you know every car, you know every engine, you know what the interiors look like, you've known every model of that car since 1968 right up to now, you haven't helped anyone. The only thing you've done is learnt about it for yourself. The real passion in life is whenever you've mastered yourself, and then you can bring an edge to your craft, to what you want to work on. Is it something new? Are you going to create the next big thing that no one's ever seen? Or are you going to become a master at something that's already been done, but you know you can do it better? But if you don't go for either one, or you don't find something that gives you that type of passion where you have a mission and journey to go towards, then you will be caught up in the day-to-day things. You will be caught up on the things that aren't interesting. They seem interesting in the moment, but they'll cause you to get lost in them. Video games, people are lost in those things. Computerized games on the internet, people totally lost in them. They think they know it's not reality, but they think that's the most important thing in their reality. Somebody's caught up on the social media stuff. They think I've got all these followers, that's life. Then you got somebody else who's just reading, and they're at least they're doing the most because they have actually got someone else's specialized knowledge. But even at that, if you don't ever go out and apply it, then you're just a dead bookstore. rather than being someone who comes back with the scars and they've said, look, I've went out and done this, so at least whenever somebody tells you you did something wrong, but you went out and you fought to your death, at least you can say, I went out, I showed up at the battlefield, I put in everything I could. Those people die happy. The people that die sad and the people that unfortunately commit suicide are people that don't feel like they've had any tests, challenges, efforts being put in, so they feel like there's nothing there. There's no solid weight in them. Because if you don't have any weight to you, you don't know where to put yourself. Whereas if you know, because the things that you do, experiences are a weight in you. Not a dead weight, but a weight of life. A weight where you can actually feel you're grounded. You can stand somewhere and you know all of the value that you have. Look at it like this as your experiences, because experiences and how you respond to your experiences ultimately determine what you're capable of. Let me say that again. Your experiences and how you respond to your experiences will ultimately determine what you're able to do in this life. Because if you don't have experience and you haven't responded to experiences, then you don't know where to direct yourself. Choosing to get information is an experience, but it might be a small one, depending on where you go, who you choose to learn from. But if you go to the best and you find out the best information and you respond with it with a total passion that you're able to utilize everything that it works for you and apply it, well then what a great experience you have. So when you're in these different environments where people are difficult, it's challenging, or maybe it's life-threatening, but you've had those experiences where you know what you're capable of, where you stand there with a weight of power, a groundedness, where it doesn't matter what pops up, you'll always be able to respond effectively. And if you can grasp that, if you can get that, then today you will start something. Today, if you've never done anything, you'll do the push-ups. You'll be on the computer game and you'll hop off it and you'll do 10 press-ups. You know there's vegetables in the fridge. You buy vegetables every week, you put them in your fridge and you never fucking eat them. This is going to be the week that you actually use them up. Maybe you eat them raw, maybe you throw them on the pan and you cook them with whatever you usually eat. This will be the day that you do something. Now if this video gets disregarded and it doesn't resonate with you, again, you set yourself up to be a leaf in the wind, that you don't know what the destination's going to be, but it's not going to be an exhilarating one. Whereas if you can bring life to it, if you can actually be something that you want to be, well then you're always going to find excitement even in the darkest of times, difficult times, times of extreme challenge. I hope you can find that weight, because that's where the quality individual is. Same for men and same for women. But if you want to be the solid man, whenever you've been tested, whenever you've had life experience, you realize what's important. You realize what gets results. And you realize how many people get caught up in the small things. So whenever you're standing there and you've already been tested and you have all the applicable knowledge, whenever all the small stuff pops up, it doesn't affect you. And whenever you have girls by your side, you don't feel uncomfortable with other men. Doesn't matter how big the other man is, doesn't matter what he says, you know the response. Not because you had to learn it, but because you've been through more than that other person. You know more than that other person. And you also have a certainty within yourself. You'll learn as you go through life. The more that you test yourself. Just as much as life can be taken quickly, it also takes a lot to fucking kill me. So if I'm standing there with that feeling, well, it doesn't matter what that other person's going to do, could do. I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to say stuff that people would label as bad, harmful, not going to help them. But if you're going to come up and try and ruin my night, I'm willing to make your life miserable. And then whenever you do these things, you'll come up with whatever is your own way of life, whatever you enjoy. You might be the person who has the best wife ever, the best kids ever, the house and the 2 cars. But if you do that as your life experience, as your mission that you sharpen every day, you make better every day, you will live a passionate and happy person. But if you get to the destination and that's it, finished, and this is what I'm going to talk about in the next video, what's the next chapter after you get to that point where you've done all the difficult stuff? Again, this is not one video you apply for the day. This is the video that you apply day in and day out for a month, for a year, for 2 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years. and then 15 years down the line. Or if you're a fast worker, maybe it's 5 years down the line. Or if it was just one small passionate thing that you're gonna catapult off, maybe it's been 3 months. It's whenever you get to that point, how do you go on to the next level? And that's what I'm going to share with you in this next video. I hope it can help you. I hope you apply it. And I think this is very appropriate for not only everyone in the world, but it's very applicable and a must-need message for young people today. They're getting lost in these video screens and they think that's reality. They think a response is some kind of thing that you can gauge and watch over again. Whereas that's not life. Life is unpredictable, people are unpredictable, and the only way you're going to be able to have the best chance is whenever it's one-on-one in real life, not on a screen.